Hello and welcome to Sun and Fun. My name is Ron Timmermans. I'm one of the many hosts with the Florida Aviation Network, and I want to welcome you to our broadcast today. We are at the 45th annual Sun and Fun International Fly-In and Expo at Lakeland Linder Regional Airport in Lakeland, Florida. And we're broadcasting live and in the clear, and we are enjoying the opportunity to visit with a number of very interesting people, movers and shakers in the aviation industry, pilots, drone flyers, and administrators and the like. And we have two very interesting guests with us today that I want to introduce to you. First is Scotty Larson on my left, and next to him is Nyzer Murphy. And they are both members of the members and leaders in the local drone club. Scotty and Nyzer, welcome. Good to have you with us today. Good. So let's see. Scotty, I believe you said you were a senior at the Central Florida Aviation Academy?
Yes, sir.
The local high school here? Good. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, if you would, how you came here and what your interests are in school and beyond school.
Okay, so I actually heard of the Central Florida Aerospace Academy at a fly-in in Bartow, a very small one where I had been doing some pilot training since a very young age. And once I heard of that, now I make the 45-minute drive every day to come to school at the Aerospace Academy and experience the opportunities that they offer there.
Wonderful. So you drive 45 minutes each way
Yes,
to
sir.
and from school every day. And that's been your dedication to go to this school. And so have you been here now all 4 years of your academic?
Yes, sir. All 4 years of my high school have been spent at this campus.
Very good. And you're a senior this year?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what are your aspirations beyond high school? What will you do next year, or haven't you decided yet?
Well, I've already obtained my private pilot license last November. Now I'm working towards my instruments, and after my graduation, I'll be going into an online program to get a degree in aviation management, a business degree.
An online degree program.
Yes,
very
sir.
good. Okay, well, good. And Nyzer, this is your second year in the high school here?
Yes.
Okay, good. And do you live locally here in Lakeland, or?
Yes.
So you don't have the 45-minute drive like Scotty does. That's probably best, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good. So what have you enjoyed the most about going to Central Florida Aviation Academy?
Most of my teachers and the programs I'm in, so the engineering and the teachers I get to meet. And it's a great way to meet people and get aware of some colleges in the future. So it's just a good program to be a part of.
Very good. So your aspirations beyond high school, what do you plan to do?
An engineering degree and maybe a job in aerospace.
In aerospace,
Yeah.
very good. And an engineering degree at a local college, or don't know yet?
Don't know yet.
Don't know yet. So pretty soon you'll have to make that decision. Well, I guess you got 2 more years before you have to make that decision. That's good. That's good. And so, Nyzer, I understand you have risen to the presidency of the drone club.
Yes.
All right. So how many members in your drone club?
There's about 15.
15, and they're all the high school students here at the academy?
Yes.
Okay, good. And so some young men, some young women, I suppose, as well, interested in
Yes.
drones? Very good. What's the mix, what's the diversity of men versus women in the drone club?
All right, so 14 of them, including me and Scotty, are dudes, and
Dudes?
one girl.
And one girl. Okay, that's good. Well, I'm sure she's bringing some good diversity to your club. That's
Yes.
great. That's great. And so, Scotty, I know you've been involved with a drone club for a number of years, I guess.
Yes,
Did
sir.
you help initiate it or start it?
Actually, yes. This is my 3rd year in the club. There was kind of a startup year, but the club really didn't take fruition until that 3 years ago when I came in, and together, myself and some other seniors, we've worked to build the bylaws and all the paperwork and everything behind the club to get it to where it is now, so it can kind of function, and the sophomores and the juniors and the younger guys can kind of take control of what we rode up and made.
So you paved the way, more or less, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
kind of.
Good, good. And so has the transition to your leadership, Nyzer, been fairly simple and easy?
No.
No, okay. So there's a lot to learn, I'm sure,
Yes.
to lead an organization. Well, that's good, but that's also as good experience as you're growing up and going through high school to learn how to lead an organization and to motivate people, and particularly volunteers. I'm sure that's a worthy cause that you're doing.
Yes.
That's good. So how long have you been flying drones, Nyzer?
I've never really been serious about them. It's mostly the toys and whatnot.
Yeah.
Just flying those around for fun.
Yeah.
But my main goal was working on them and building them. So I haven't really flown them. We mostly just worked on them and toyed with them.
So you build your own then?
No, but I've rebuilt them.
Oh, rebuild them after someone crashes them or something.
Yeah, so
after we
with my
messed them
uncle, we take one and just fix it up and whatnot.
That's good. That's good. So does the club purchase the drones, or do individual members have their own drones that you use in the club?
The club purchases the drones.
I see. And how many drones do you have?
We have around 5 or 6.
5 or 6. That's quite a fleet. Well, that's good. And Nyzer, I think Scotty mentioned that you do search and rescue competitions. Is that correct?
Yes, we did those last year, but right now we're trying to move the club to do racing and whatnot.
Okay, but tell me a bit about the search and rescue promotions or the events that you do. So how does that work?
During the school here, there was a competition for search and rescue drones. And basically what we did was we took our drone for that. We've been working with it, going out for test flights and working it. So we have a competition team, members on there who have specific job. So I was maintenance, and Victor and Scotty were pilots on it. And we had runners to go get the drone whenever it fell. So we would practice that, work with the drone, fix it up, make sure it's able to fly, then go on to do the competitions where we compete against others who did the same.
So the competitions, Scotty, are with other school drone clubs or other local drone clubs around the area? Or
Well, there's not a lot of drone clubs in the local area, and not many are connected to schools. You can go to places like the Academy of Model Aeronautics and get a membership online and then fly at a local spot that they have designated. But most of the clubs that came to meet us here, we host the competition, they come from out of state. So we had a lot of teams from Georgia that made up the majority of that competition.
I see. And how many teams would you have for the
Well,
competition?
It's not a very big competition. It's kind of a niche thing, but there was four or five teams that came to compete.
Oh, very good. So that's good. First of all, how did your team do? Were they successful?
Well, actually, we had a critical failure in the drone, which was very disappointing for us because we had worked so hard on this drone. The drone that we've been working with, we've had for about 3 years now, and we built it from scratch, and we've used it in the competitions previous years, but this year there was a malfunction with the software, and so it's actually a funny story. When we put it in the air, part of the competition is autopilot. Well, when we set it to track its GPS coordinates to hit all the waypoints, it wanted to fly to Africa.
Oh my goodness.
So we actually had to ground it for the safety of everyone. Yeah.
So was that a mechanical problem or a software problem that you had to work on, Nyzer?
It was a software problem
Software
that
problem?
I didn't really work on.
You did or didn't?
I didn't.
You didn't. Someone else had to fix
Yeah,
it,
that
and you
was
just took it out of
someone
service
else's.
for that particular competition. So tell me how the competition works. So a team comes up with their drone, and to start the competition, what do they have to do? Program certain waypoints for the drone to fly over?
Yes, that's exactly correct. And we did very good in other portions of the competition because that's why you can't have too many teams, because it's a very lengthy process. First, you have to present your drone, talk about the components in it, go over safety with the judges, and then you take it out to the field where you program in the waypoints, then you send it up. And then after the automated flight, you have a manual flight where you look for letters on the ground and you have to spell out some type of word or something like that.
So from the camera that's mounted on the drone, you would look for the letters on the ground and make sure you're flying over those points and the like.
Yes,
you have
sir.
to collect all the letters to put them together in a word.
That's exactly right.
That's
And so
interesting.
we have, like Nyzer was saying, we have multiple positions on the competition team. And so, you know, one person will be flying, but there's another person manning the viewing system. So they can look in there with a first person point of view, and they're communicating with the pilot, telling them where they need to go.
Oh, okay, okay. So the viewer might say to the pilot, fly straight ahead or fly a little bit further to the right.
So
I
we
think
can
I
get a
see
clear
something.
picture of the
I
letter.
see, I see. So the letters are something that are on the ground then that you
Yes,
have to
they are.
spot? And how do you know roughly where to fly over the letters?
They give you rough coordinates of the land,
Okay.
and then you kind of use those coordinates to get a start, but most of it is very visual and just looking out. We do have a program, a software program, and a navigator will actually sit with the pilot in the first person point of view, and he will kind of get them in the general direction.
I see. So your drone operations all within visual sight of the pilot operating the controls?
Yes, we have to maintain visual sight. Now there is a little bit of a leeway there because if we have walkie-talkies, which we use, one person can be a little further out, and as long as they have eyes on it and they're communicating with the pilot, then we can go further distances.
I see. So that's all part of the Part 107 rules, I imagine, that you're quoting?
Yes, sir. We actually have, to become a member, to do anything, to fly our drones, you have to go through the Academy of Model Aeronautics to get insured, because we're the only club in the U.S. that allows you to fly on an airport property, because normally you can't get within 5 miles of an airport with a drone. And then you also have to pass a safety course with the FAA. So we make sure our pilots have a general idea of what they're doing before we let them go.
I see. And do you require your pilots to obtain their remote pilot's license, or just as they're flying under the supervision of someone who has a remote pilot's license?
They're flying under supervision. We always maintain contact with the tower here at Lakeland. And then it's not a requirement, but some guys will take the initiative to get their license. And I know we just had one who recently completed ground school. Yeah, so.
Very good. And do you have your remote pilot's license?
Myself, it's something that I probably will do now that I got my private, but I was focusing on the manned aircraft.
I understand.
And then now they say it'll be a lot easier for me to add the extra rating on there.
Yeah, it is indeed quite easy to do that. I'm a private pilot as well, and I got my remote pilot's license like the first month that they were available back in 2016 or 17, I can't remember when it was. And so once you have the private pilot's license like you do, Scotty, you just take the course at FAAsafety.gov. It's one of the online courses that you take. A few hours to do that. I think there's some online testing with it, nothing serious, but fairly easy to do. You get that, you fill out the paperwork, Form 8710, and you have a flight instructor or someone who can authorize to sign. That includes the flight instructor. And then a few weeks or a month or so later, the FAA sends you your new certificate, just like your private pilot certificate, the little plastic card, but this one says remote pilot. And it has a different number even. So
Okay, I'll have to check into that.
yeah, it's fairly simple to do. And then you can be the authorized one to supervise and overview of all of the remote pilot operations, just like you have to have someone do that now. So, Nyzer, do you contact the tower then when you do remote pilot operations or drone operations in and around the Lakeland Airport?
Yes, because
Okay.
we have to make sure we tell the tower what we're doing before we do anything.
So do you have radio contact with them or telephone contact or both?
I believe it's telephone contact.
Telephone contact, okay, so you're not on the walkie-talkie with them or anything like that. And then your remote pilot operations here on the Lakeland Airport, are they over here by the Sun and Fun campus, or are they the southeast part of the airport, or how close into the runways are you?
I believe we're closer to the SunFun campus. Yes.
Yeah, that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, we're actually, our field's right out here to the right of us, where all the campers are staying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's our field.
That's
where
your
we
field
fly
where
in.
you do
So
it.
unfortunately, no flying this week.
Yeah, of course not this week. This is kind of a busy and special week at Lakeland Linder Regional Airport with all of our guests coming in from throughout the world, actually, and certainly from throughout the United States. The way as you're watching this, I just wanted to mention to you that if you haven't yet been to Sun and Fun this week, there's still time left. This is Wednesday when we're broadcasting right now, and we still have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday left. So make sure, if you can, put that in your things to do this week to come out to Sun and Fun. And if by chance you're too far away and aren't able to make it this week, well, then there's always next year. So I think you should plan to come to Sun and Fun. You're going to meet a bunch of great people, see a lot of great airplanes and shows, and meet some fine young men like Scotty and Nyzer here, who are very much involved in drone flying and the like. And so let me see, I had a couple of other things I was going to mention. So do you provide then training for the people in the club? I mean, someone comes in and says, hey, I've never flown a drone before. Do you take them by the hand and help them work the controls, or do you have them watch you as you do it, or how does that work?
So we're actually a very selective club. So there's an application process and that everyone has to go through, freshmen coming into the school and everything like that. Once you're accepted, we'll bring you into the club. Basically, wherever you have aspirations, wherever you want to kind of apply yourself in the club, there's someone there to kind of take you by the hand and guide you through that. So Nyzer, if someone came in and wanted to do maintenance, this is the man we would send them to, and then he would guide them. If someone wanted to come in and do piloting, then we would have the proper person to show them this is how you move the y-axis, x-axis, rotate, all of that stuff.
And then Nyzer tells them this is how you fix it when somebody drops it and breaks it.
Pretty much.
Well, that's great. Well, Nyzer, I know your club is wanting to do some community involvement. What aspects of what is the club doing as far as community involvement in the local Lakeland area?
Well, we're just starting that. So basically our aspirations with that are to get out there, like show off some of the drones, bring people in, make our name well known.
Very good, very good. And in so doing, I guess you promote the airport too, then, don't you?
Yes.
Which is good, and flying in general. Well, that's great. That's great. And let's see, you mentioned racing, Scotty. So whenever I say racing, I see this smile come on your face. So obviously, this is a passion of yours. Have you been racing the drones yet, or is this just something you want to do?
It's something that I really want to do. I'm a little sad because I'm a senior and I have to kind of work my way out of the club, but I'm glad to leave this behind. We're kind of starting on it now so that hopefully by next year they can have a really good racing program. Sun and Fun and Lakeland Airport has been really helpful, and we have the opportunity to maybe have a hangar in which we can race the drones. And what we would love to do is invite students over from the school to come and sit in kind of a crowd and watch our members race as we have personal competitions amongst each other. And then if we can get sponsors from there and move out, maybe compete in the community, that would be amazing. Wow.
So is there a drone racing league or something where there's competition throughout the state or throughout the U.S.?
They do have leagues. Right now, we're not really focused on getting into a league. We want to get our feet wet within the club and then maybe expand and see, who knows, maybe start our own league and invite guests.
Oh, that would be great. That would be great. And Nyzer, Scotty mentioned doing a race entirely within a hangar. Is that possible? How do you must need a big hangar to do that, huh?
Yes, we have like a course that we'll set up inside, make space for concessions and people, and basically race around that course.
Okay. And so the course would have the drones, flying through hoops and over obstacles and underneath things and through tunnels and...
Yes.
Wow. So how does the pilot, Nyzer, when he or she is operating the drone, how do they see where the drone is going? Do they use an onboard camera, or?
There is onboard camera.
Onboard camera.
Like the type of drones that we plan on getting for this have like VR headsets so they can see what the drone sees.
So the pilot would don a virtual reality headset. Yes. And so they would be seeing the picture that the camera on the drone is actually seeing.
Yeah.
So if they bank right, they will see the drone turn to the right.
Yes.
And if they pitch up, they'll see that and move. So all the maneuvers they would see real time as if they were sitting in the drone
Yes.
and going 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Oh, yes.
How fun is that? I can hardly wait. I want to try that sometime. Have you done racing yet, Scott?
Yes, I have experienced, the FPV systems and racing the drones. And for me personally, the reason why I want to get into it a lot more is the search and rescue, things like that. For me, it's harder being a pilot and having started there to kind of understand that, the axis and look at them while you're flying from a remote. But if I can get in the plane, so to say, and I can feel like I'm in it again, then I'm much more comfortable flying the drones.
Okay, great. Nyzer, we're going to wrap this up in a couple of moments here, but I wanted to ask about safety of your operations. Do you have like a safety officer in the club?
Yes.
And do you incorporate safety in all of your operations? Is it just kind of an adjunct thing, or do you try and integrate it with all of your operations?
Well, right now we're trying to integrate it into our all of operations, because in the past before we're just like, let's go.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
we're
sure.
flying some drones. So
Yeah, the eagerness, we don't want to get overcome by that. We certainly want to make
but right
sure that
now
we're-
we're trying to push the safety into the drone.
Yeah, great. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today on this interview. It's been wonderful to hear about your drone club and the activities that you've accomplished so far through your leadership, Scotty, and now through your continued leadership, Nyzer. This is going to be great. And this is one great example of young people getting involved in aviation, which some of us are thinking that aviation becomes an older person's only venture. But in this case, we've got two interested and exciting young people who are into drones, and Scotty also into flying airplanes, and I'm sure that they're going to go great in their careers in aviation. Again, my name is Ron Timmermans, and I'm one of the hosts with the Florida Aviation Network, and we've been broadcasting to you live and in the clear from the 45th International Fly-In and Expo at Lakeland, Florida. I'm looking forward to seeing you again at another one of our broadcasts later in the week. Until then, have a great day.